Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So there's this young man on YouTube by the name of Alex Stein, if you will, and he has a YouTube channel. He brings on people for interviews, and for some reason, well, I say for some reason, but there's a reason, he brought on Just Pearly Things. Now, we all know that Just Pearly Things is very controversial, and it's not because she's saying something right, it's because she's saying something crazy every time she opens her mouth. Now, he brought her on here to I guess, hold her accountable for some of these tweets she be putting out, like the infamous tweet where she said that she thought that 16-year-olds were more attractive than 24-something-year-olds. She said that out of her mouth, and the crazy part is, whenever they confronted her about that, she also made another statement where she said that 25-year-olds were hotter than 35-year-olds. They were trying to hold her accountable for saying these things, which I don't care how anybody tries to slice it. No grown woman should be saying something like that, especially about a 16-year-old, the 16-year-old comment. And she tried to backtrack by saying, oh, she was just talking about herself because she was a little bit younger when she made that statement. And a lot of people said, no. And they re-brought up the tweet. I done told y'all, people use these receipts. They be acting like they didn't say this stuff. They didn't tweet this stuff. But people be screenshotting and bringing these receipts. They reminded her that she made a blatant statement saying, oh no, 16-year-olds in general are hotter than 26-year-olds. She didn't say, oh, I'm talking about myself. Oh, when I was 16, I was hotter than when I was 26. No, she made a blanket statement. They reminded her about this, and ever since that they brought that up, she's been trying to backpedal, if you will, out of that statement. But once again, there's no backpedaling. You said what you said. And they've been calling her, the person, I can't say the word on here because of the algorithm, the type of adult that likes to mess with kids, because that's the only kind of person who would make a statement like that. Once again, please save me all of the, oh, well, it's technically true whenever you get older, your beauty fades or whatever. But as a person, as you get older, you still shouldn't be attracted to children. When you're a child, you want to be with a child. When you're an adult, you want to be with adults. When you're older, you want to be with somebody older. So like I said, please miss me with the, oh, well, it's true. You get older, you get a little less attractive. If we're going to be 100% honest, some of these people who are considered unattractive are really just unattractive because they don't be taking care of themselves. You'll be pretty impressed with how much more attractive you'll be whenever you're eating good, eating healthy and clean, you're exercising, taking care of yourself, making sure your hair is cut and styled in a nice, presentable manner. You wear nice clothes. They ain't gotta be expensive. Just make sure that they look nice and they look nice on you. So some of this stuff is just people being lazy, and that's the reason why they don't look nice. Now, once again, speaking on the shadiness of that comment and her for making that comment, once again, a lot of people have been trying to get her to understand that she was wrong for making that comment. Coming from an adult, it sounds very inappropriate. Not just disrespectful to older women, but very inappropriate. No adult should be talking like that about a child. It's very disgusting and very sick. And the mindset that she is promoting, because there's a lot of people who feel this way. There's a lot of men, not all men, of course, because, I don't make blanket statements like somebody, okay? But there's a lot of men out there. They want something to be the reason why they can justify going after, chasing after, dating, having sex with women that are young enough, girls that are young enough to be their daughter, underage people. Now, because that's another thing she also tried to do. Oh, well, 16 is not a minor. She really tried to say that only to justify what she said because she knew what she said was wrong. She knew it was inappropriate. She knew it was shady. So she had to make 16 out to be an adult to make it a little less shady. 16, if I'm not mistaken, is not the age of consent everywhere. There are still places, if I'm not mistaken, where 16 is below the age of consent. So what she said was still shady. And even if 16 was the age of consent everywhere, you're still a raggedy individual if you think it's okay to nurse a culture and mindset where adults should be messing with children because they are still children just because they look pretty. Like, that's sick and twisted. Once again, it's nursing a culture that's perverted and lustful and has a lack of self-control when it comes to these things. And people want to wonder why and scratch their head. You've got men out here who are making it okay, once again, to date girls young enough to be their daughter. It's not okay. It'll never be okay. It's sick and twisted. God is not pleased with them, and God is not pleased with her and the other cuckoo birds out here who are trying to promote that sick line of thinking. I really do thank God for all of the men and women that have been trying to call her out and hold her accountable, hold her feet to the fire, so to speak, over what she said, and trying to rebuke this craziness that she keeps trying to put out into the atmosphere that's running amok amongst all of her peers and the people of her movement. Y'all know what movement that is, who keep trying to promote this stuff. I'm so grateful for the people who give pushback. And one of the saddest parts about all of this is she just refused to admit that she's wrong. She could have went on there and said, you know what, I was wrong for that tweet. You know, I'm sorry. I know I said that. That was crazy. Let me delete that. Let's start over again. I didn't really mean it like that. But the fact that she refuses to admit she was wrong is one, shows that she has a lack of accountability. And two, she probably doesn't think she's wrong, which is the scary part. And this is the same Pearl that keeps dragging all women for not taking accountability. The devil is a liar, and so is she. There are plenty of women who take accountability, and she's not one of them. Now, this lady Sarah that they were talking about, I guess she got offended by what she said, and I can't say that I blame her, because who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be? All right, I get it that you shouldn't let everything affect you, but somebody always spouting nonsense and throwing you under the bus or throwing people in a general statement or like I said, blanket statements and whole demographics under the bus, it gets tiresome. Like, put yourself in this woman's shoes and ask yourself, if you are a part of the demographic that she's constantly disrespecting for no absolute reason, would you just lie down and take it? No, you wouldn't. So she decided to send this woman, Pearl, these, pictures of herself because she's trying to prove to this woman what you're saying is not the truth. And that woman, let me tell y'all something. First of all, that woman looks better at 35 than Pearl has ever looked in her entire 20s. Okay? And I still don't understand to this day. To this day, I don't understand how Pearl can sit up and call this 35-year-old woman. She was trying to say, oh, well, she's all right, because they were asking her, okay, do you think she's attractive? And all the guys were like, she's pretty to us. And she had the audacity to make it look like this woman was kind of all right. Once again, not wanting to take accountability for what she said was wrong. That there are some 35-year-olds that look better than some of these 25-year-olds, that just because a woman gets older doesn't mean she's ugly. I really don't understand how somebody who ages like cottage cheese, I'm talking about Pearl, can call this woman who's 35, who's doing very well for herself, who's married, who has kids, who is very pretty, anything except for very pretty. She even went so far as to try to make the woman seem like she was weird for sending her these pictures, talking about, you have a whole husband that you're supposed to be trying to impress. Why are you sending me pictures? Calling the woman a granny because she's 35. Again, she is single-handedly helping to feed these very disrespectful narratives about women and their appearance. And you wonder why women are out here doing crazy stuff to look younger, to look prettier. It's because of people like her and all these wacky standards that they keep pushing, making women feel like they're less attractive, less valuable just because they're getting older. Pearl should be ashamed of herself. She really should be. Because what she doesn't want is for that same mentality to come and bite her in the butt when she gets older, whenever she finally does find somebody who wants to be with her and then gets married. And that's something else I've noticed about Pearl, just Pearly things. She loves to come for the women who are supposedly out here doing what they're supposed to be doing. She drags all the women who are promiscuous, the women who, don't want to get married or have kids, or who are doing stuff that she says they shouldn't be doing, or aren't being, moral and all this kind of stuff. But the women who are married and have kids, the women who are saving themselves for marriage, she still has smoke for them too. So it's like, what do you want from these women? What do you want? Whether they're doing what's right or not, you're always coming after them for some reason. The moment I noticed that, I realized that she was full of it and that her mindset, the stuff that she's saying, this little agenda, if you will, she's trying to push, was very damaging and very dangerous, because people who are young and impressionable are listening to her and they're doing and saying crazy stuff out in the real world. And she doesn't care. As long as she can get clout and money off of these people paying attention to her, that's all that matters to her. She doesn't care about the people who she's ruining with her horrible mindset, the families, the relationships she's ruining. It's all about the money and the clout for her. That's why I keep telling y'all not to be listening to these people. Now, I do like how they approached calling her out, because there's one more thing I want to point out that they did try to hold her accountable for. I do like how they tried to call her out. They could have been like, oh, you do this and you do that and you're raggedy. But, they asked her, I was like, okay, sometimes it seems like you be trying to do this to people. Is that true? Is that so? It seems like that you do. And she blatantly, I feel like, lied straight through her teeth. That one last thing that they held her accountable for in that segment was, hey, we feel like you like to bait people into responses. You like to trigger people. You like to post trigger bait. And she was like, no, I just be tweeting. I really feel like she lied straight through her teeth. And the proof is in the pudding. She will go onto Twitter and pick random people and start arguments with them over stuff. And a lot of times she's very selective with who she chooses. There was another tweet that she got into. She started an argument with a black woman and it was race bait. Let's just call it what it is. And a lot of people fell for it. A lot of people tweeted some mad racist stuff. And it was disgusting. But some people, they did call her out and they said, now this woman wasn't even bothering you. You went to her page. And once again made a very general statement about a whole demographic, a very racist one this time. And then what did you expect? It was very disrespectful, like I said, blatantly race baiting people into arguments. And she did the same thing with this random woman on Twitter. It almost actually went viral 2 times. They be forgetting once again that they be done tweeted this stuff and that we be done took pictures and screenshot it so that we can use evidence whenever we bring up the points about what she be doing. This random young woman was just tweeting in general that she's not going to give it up to some guy that's not her husband. She's being the exact kind of woman that Pearl claims does not exist anymore. And that could not be further from the truth. There are so many women out there who are still waiting to be, married before they have sex. And we need to also talk about how there were plenty more of them before some of these young men that Pearl refuses to call out went and hump pumped and dumped them, made them feel safe, made them feel affection, tricked them, deceived them, and then screwed them and then made fun of them and threw them under the bus. But she doesn't want to talk about that. She doesn't want to talk about those people. But anyways, she was just making a general statement. I'm not going to give up to some guy that, wants it before marriage, whatever. And then she brought up the whole talking point that I see so many of these manosphere red pill people saying all the time. Well, they're condemning women for simply wanting to travel before they get married. That was one thing that even I was taught when I was younger. Hey, if you want to travel, do it while you're single, because once you get married, you start having kids. If that's what you're going to do, you're not going to have that kind of money. You're going to have somebody watch your kids for a whole week. You don't want to put somebody under that kind of stress to be watching your kids for a whole week while you're out of the country or something. Travel while you're young and you have the money to do it. Save up your coins, so to speak. It is a good idea, of course, only if you're going to travel to experience the world in a positive way, not to spread disparity and despair to all of the people who you go to, or to be out hump pumping and dumping people of another country, once again, but to just experience the world. See new places, enjoy the new scenery. And a lot of women were saying, you're up here, first of all, putting something on us that's not us. I think a lot of times when these people come up and they be talking about, oh, you don't want a woman who travels a lot, they're really talking about themselves. That's something that I've noticed, how hard some of these people, like I said, in that particular demographic, red pill manosphere, they go so hard in the paint to condemn people for doing certain things, usually because they're doing those same things. It's a projection of what they're doing. So they feel like, oh, well, I'm doing it every time I step out of the house, so they must be doing it. So I'm going to bash them about it. Like I said, it's a projection, and low-key, somewhat self-righteous and hypocritical. The people of Twitter were not falling for it. They were not here for it. They were calling her out, noting how she's always got some stupid rebuttal for everything, like they said, to cope. And once again, just to ignore a lot of the stuff that comes out of her mouth, because she's putting on women stuff that they don't even do. A lot of them don't even do these things. And she's trying to force them to be out here doing it so she can have a reason to be rude and disrespectful, because that's her platform. Rude, disrespectful, and race baiting people. And this same young woman, she got into it again. Once again, this woman was minding her natural black business, talking about how she had to break up with the guy because he refused to leave her alone about having sex with him before marriage, which is sad. Somebody shouldn't have to tell you twice. If they have morals, if they approached you in the relationship with morals, they ought not have to tell you twice, I don't want to do this. She basically told that young man, boy, bye, because she didn't have time for that. And then Pearl, with all of her audacity, inserted herself into the situation and had the audacity to ask this young woman, well, are you a virgin? And even if she wasn't, if she had decided this is how I want to live my life now, I want to do things the right way, I don't care what happened in the past, she had the right to do that. And there's also another young woman on Twitter who talked about this. I might make a video about it. It depends. But this woman had the audacity to ask this girl, are you a virgin? Once again, as if that would absolve him for pressuring her into trying to have sex with him before marriage after she told him that's not what she wanted to do. And the funny thing about this is, this young woman on Twitter, she is in fact a virgin. Her response was, yes, Pearl, I am. Are you? This entire Twitter conversation took place over a month ago, and we're still waiting for the response. But we all know she can't give one because Pearl herself has made it known publicly, she chose to do this, that she's not a virgin. So So she realized that she dug herself into a hole and she didn't say anything. But this is the common reoccurrence with this woman. She does this stuff. She digs herself into a hole. She says stuff that's not right. And then when these women come with receipts or they have a rebuttal that's a lot more commonsensical than what she said, she has nothing to say, she backtracks, or she completely lies about it. She knew she was wrong for what she said to that woman. She knew it. And she knew the implications, like I said, behind that question was disgusting and wrong. Once again, I'll probably talk about that in a separate video. And I don't like the fact that there are a lot of people, they place this very perverted emphasis on virginity as if women who have messed up one time, 2 times, 3 times are no longer marriage material. That's absolutely wrong. And it's usually done by the same people who are not virgins. Like, well, I don't even know, once again, why people have given these individuals a platform to be out here judging and throwing stones at people when they have made some of the same mistakes and worse, not even mistakes, stuff that they intentionally done, than these people who they're calling themselves judging. Once again, God is not pleased. God would never throw you in the trash just because you messed up 1 time, 2 times. You're not a virgin. You're still valuable to him. He just wants you to do the right thing. If you decide, hey, I didn't sleep with this dude, I didn't sleep with this girl, but I want to do what's right, I want to get my life back together, his grace and mercy is waiting right for you to make that decision. That's all you have to do. Repent, ask God forgiveness, forgive yourself, forgive whoever hurt you, and then move on with your life. That's why the old people used to say, I'm so glad that God is not like man, because while he's picking you up and dusting you off and setting you back on the right track after you've messed up just like everybody else, they'll be ready to throw you in the trash. But thank God we ain't got to listen to nothing they really say. We can look at them for the cuckoo individuals that they are and call out the crazy stuff that they say because it's crazy and it's sick-minded. And then we can move on. Y'all, this situation was crazy, but it needed to be discussed. It needed to be talked about. Anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think and how y'all feel about all of this down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all all have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.